It's time to separate the men from the boys as we round up the 10 most unusual men in the world. What's up, Factnatics? This is Discovery Amuse, serving up your daily dose of the most outrageous, outlandish, and out-of-this-world fun facts. Stay tuned because our top 1 pick will make your skin crawl. Don't believe us? See it for yourself. Number 10. Hu Qiong. Buddhist monks are some of the calmest, most zen people on earth, but they can also be the most badass. Meet Shaolin monk and Kung Fu master Hu Qiong, who rose to fame for his unbreakable skin and body. Just how indestructible is this man? Well, he can push a running drill down his temple without piercing through his skull, smash steel on his head, jab himself with spears, and catch a running electric saw with his bare hands. Skeptics have called shenanigans on Hu Qiong's stunts, but biomechanic professor Dan Voss can vouch for him, as he measured actual pressure on Hu Qiong's skull, stomach, and arms. Although naysayers insist that there's a misleading method to this guy's madness. Say what you will about Hu Qiong's hijinks, but don't ever attempt to try any of his tricks just to prove your case. Keep watching till number 1 because our top pick has a medical condition you wouldn't believe actually exists. Number 9. Kaine Buffonge. This up-and-coming model is shutting down our outdated standards of beauty once and for all. 24-year-old Kaine Buffonge's fabulous freckles, nerdy braces, and mismatched eye colors are smashing every supermodel stereotype as he struts his unusual features for some of the biggest names in fashion. While working part-time in an electronics shop in London, Kaine was scouted by an agent on his way to playing football with his friends. Despite his shyness, his mother always wanted him to get into modeling. Moms really do know best, because in just 2 weeks' time, he was already flown to Venice to pose for Diesel. Soon after, he saw himself striking poses for Adidas and walking the runways of London. But despite his budding modeling career, Kaine still wants to pursue his plans of becoming a PE teacher. Number 8. Francisco Domingo Joaquim. If his name is a mouthful to you, that's nothing compared to his actual mouth. Francisco Domingo Joaquim, who's also known for his nickname Chiquino, is dubbed the Angolan Jaw of Awe because of his seriously stretchy pie hole that won him the Guinness record for the world's widest mouth. At an astounding 17 centimeters, he can even fit an entire can of soda in it. But before he was discovered by the Guinness judges, he was already performing tricks with his mouth. That didn't sound right. At local markets around his hometown of Luanda in Angola. I wonder if he did a little bit of shoplifting around the market with his mouth too. Number 7. Donnie Snider. Nope, he's not from the movie Avatar.
You ready?
Nor is he a member of the Blue Man Group. Donnie Snider's Smurf-like skin is actually permanent. After getting miserable trying to conform to societal norms, Donnie had finally had enough and decided to show his true colors, a bright shade of turquoise. It started in 2017 when, out of the blue, he asked his sister to tattoo his foot and leg a bold shade of turquoise. Slowly but surely, Donnie worked his way up to cover almost his entire body, sharing his progress on Instagram and gaining thousands of followers in the process. In his hometown of Ontario, Donnie would get the widest range of reactions, from smiles and gasps to pickup lines and free drinks. Some would even try to wipe off the tattoo to see if it's real. And of course, a lot of them get curious whether he's got a case of, blue balls. But I guess some things are better left to the imagination. Number 6. Mehran Karimi Nasseri. Delayed flights are the worst. Aside from not getting to your destination on time, there's not really so much you can do inside an airport but sit around and wait. So imagine getting stuck inside an airport for 18 years. That's exactly the hell that Mehran Karimi Nasseri had to endure when he got stuck in the departure lounge of Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, France in 1988. See, this political refugee fled his home country of Iran to seek asylum in Europe in 1988. After losing his luggage containing all his refugee papers, Nasseri was caught in transit limbo, meaning he was neither allowed to step on French soil nor was he able to go back home because his refugee status had revoked his Iranian citizenship. For 18 years, he lived a boring daily routine of washing in the airport bathrooms, eating McDonald's inside the terminal, and spending the rest of the day people watching. In 2006, Nasseri finally got out of the airport for the first time in almost 2 decades when he got seriously ill and had to be taken to a hospital. If this all sounds awfully familiar, that's because Nasseri's incredible story inspired the Tom Hanks movie, The Terminal.
Right behind you.
Ah, now you know. Number 5. Wim Hof. Remember when the Ice Bucket Challenge became a viral hit on social media? Even the biggest celebrities went along with the fad to help raise awareness for ALS. But Dutch athlete Wim Hof thinks the Ice Bucket Challenge is for wimps, also known as the Iceman. Wim Hof holds 26 world records under his belt, including the current Guinness World Record for the longest ice bath at 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 42 seconds. But that's just the tip of the iceberg of what Wim can do. Barefoot and in shorts, he ran a 13-mile half marathon above the Arctic Circle in Finland in freezing -4 degrees. As if that wasn't enough, he even climbed Mount Everest in his skivvies. Now at 61 years old, he dedicates himself to teaching others his Wim Hof method of inhaling and exhaling. And even got featured on Gwyneth Paltrow's show on Netflix. Netflix and chill, anyone? Number 4. Alex Lewis. You won't look at the common cold the same way again after this next story. In November 2013, Alex Lewis thought he just came down with the flu. He had a sore throat, felt feverish, and suffered body aches. But when he started peeing blood and his skin turned purple, he and his partner Lucy knew something was seriously wrong. It turned out that Alex contracted strep A, an infection that caused blood poisoning and organ failure. With the infection eating away at Alex's flesh, the doctor had no choice but to remove part of his face and do a quadruple amputation on him. They then removed skin from Alex's shoulders to graft onto his mouth. But looking past his appearance, what really makes Alex a standout is his indomitable spirit. Instead of crumbling in the face of adversity, Alex picked himself up and has since become a motivational public speaker, a prolific mountaineer, and has even helped raise funds for other hospitals. He credits his son as his greatest motivation to continue living his life to the fullest. Number 3. Nick Santonastasso. Here's another dude that defied all odds. Nick Santonastasso was born with Hanhart syndrome, a condition that prevented his limbs from fully developing at birth. Although he lived with one arm and no legs, his parents never gave him any special treatment, letting him figure out how he would feed himself or put his own clothes on. This helped him gain the independence and resiliency to roll with life's punches. At just 24 years old, Nick is already a multi-hyphenate, fitness model, entrepreneur, motivational speaker, singer-songwriter, and internet sensation with over 500,000 followers. Even his personal hero, The Rock, is impressed at what this guy has accomplished. So what's your excuse again? Number 2. Carlos "Haffy" Rodriguez. These mugshots are not photoshopped. Yup, the man has half a head. Carlos Rodriguez, who's also nicknamed Haffy for obvious reasons, lost a huge chunk of his skull and brains after being involved in a near-fatal car crash when he was 14. He was admittedly drunk and high on drugs when the accident happened. Kids, just do yourselves a favor and don't do drugs or drive drunk. In 2010, Carlos was arrested for allegedly soliciting prostitution, and his bizarre mugshots quickly made headlines. And as if he hasn't had enough of notoriety, in 2016 he was arrested for attempted murder when he burned his mattress and endangered the lives of 2 of his neighbors. And you know what came next? More half-headed mugshots. Number 1. Dede Koswara. Indonesian man Dede Koswara had a pretty normal childhood until he got an odd bump on his knee when he was 10. Little did he know that the small bump would end up becoming a lifelong struggle of survival. Koswara was diagnosed with a rare disease called Lewandowski-Lutz dysplasia, which caused scaly warts to grow out of him that looked like tree bark. It became so severe that Koswara eventually ended up being covered in 13 pounds of cutaneous horns, making him too debilitated to carry on with his profession as a carpenter. In 2008, he went under the knife to have 95% of his warts removed. At first, it seemed like things were coming up roses for Dede, but the bark and horns started to grow back. He lived on for 8 more years until finally succumbing to the complication of his incurable condition in 2016. So, there you have it, the 10 most unusual men in the world. Which of them would you want to meet in person, if given the chance? Cheer for them in the comments section below. Join our fantastic tribe of Factnatics now by hitting that subscribe button. And while you're at it, turn on the notification bell so you never have to miss any of our latest life-changing, boredom-busting content. And if you've got more time to kill, which I'm sure you do, check out our countdown of the 10 most unusual women in the world. Till then, stay original, Factnatics, and see you in the next video.